Shame. Okay, so back to Twitch. So hello everybody, thanks very much for joining me. I really appreciate it. I think that we are in good shape to look at the build now. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take you through everything that's been done in the last little while, and you should be able to kind of get a sense from me today as to how the combat is all going to work. Okay, so this is the initial screen that you get when you start selecting your team. This is a little bit different to a full game of Ealdorlight in the sense that normally Ealdorlight would start you by generating a character. You'd be able to kind of choose your whole character's history and that kind of thing. But what we're doing actually is just setting up a little skirmish between two teams of characters. So they're a little bit arbitrary, but it should give you an idea of how the combat works. And the advantage of this is that you'll be able to have a look at how the combat is going to work for different combinations of characters. Now, not every aspect of the combat is in this build. It's an early build. So one specific omission is the fact that there's no leadership in this build yet. But I have managed to get different types of weapons in and a whole bunch of different combat options. There are 149 separate different damage combinations that can actually affect a character now, which is quite exciting. So I'm going to show you how this basically works. If you are a Kickstarter backer, then you will be getting a copy of this build probably, if I can manage it, on Monday. I would love you to try it out and iron out any issues with it and see what you think before I release it more generally to Twitch streamers, YouTube streamers, that kind of thing, to have a go with a little bit later on. But yes, that'll probably be Tuesday or Wednesday. But if you're a Kickstarter backer, you'll get the game early. That's important. So do have a look and see what you think. Okay, so let's pick a couple of characters. Let's play as a woman in the Allies team. Oh, that's just shrunk the screen. Let me just start that again. There we go. Okay, so I've got a couple of women on my team now, and you can right click and hold down the mouse button to drag, and I'm also going to add a couple of men to the foes team at this point, and they'll appear somewhere over there. So as you can see, it really is just kind of creating an arbitrary battle for you to look at. So the issue with this is that, oh, it's not quite correct, but there we go, that's fine. It's a couple of bugs, display bugs with the build, but we're kind of still getting there with it, but it'll give you an idea. The other thing I should mention is the frame rate. I've got this on full max details and I'm also streaming, so potentially the frame rate might look a little bit low. There are no issues with the frame rate in the full game, so you won't have any issues with that when you're not streaming. If you've got a lower spec computer, then you'll be able to turn down the detail settings in the demo. Okay, so let's have a look at these two characters. It has created a couple of characters for us. We've got Benevolence and Thea. If we want to switch between who we want to actually play, so we want to play, for example, Benevolence, then we can click on the different characters by doing this. It turns out both of them have got, well, this one's got legendary strength and great reflexes, and it gives you a little bit of character flavour there on the screen as well. Notice also there's a PNBL and FR stats. Those stand for pain, blood loss and fear, and they come into the actual combat in a minute. And Thea, who I don't think will play, is only normal strength, good reflexes, which means she'll hit quite a lot, but she's got bad stamina. But this woman, Benevolence, has got much better stats. Let's have a look at Ulrich. Fair, pretty average character, and poor reflexes, Francis. So he's not going to be so difficult to beat. Okay, so we've got the option to right click and you can choose different weapons for your characters. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick maybe axes. So I'm going to take a double-handed axe and I'm going to give Thea, she's got a mace. You can mouse wheel to zoom in a little bit. Spears are quite good. Just a regular sword maybe. Or we could give her a big sword. That's a bit big. Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, let's give us both big axes. That'll be fun. Okay, and the other guys over here, I'm going to give Ulrich just like a tiny axe, and I'm going to give Francis a tiny mace. Okay, there we go. Different weapons give different damage effects, so you'll be able to see exactly how that's going to work in a minute. Okay, so once we've chosen our team, I think two versus two is going to be good. You can have as many as you like, but it'll get a bit crazy if you add too many. But you'll see that you'll be able to add a lot, and I'll try that at the end of the stream and see how that goes. Okay, so then we click Let It Begin. So now we have the ability to mouse over our characters, as I've said, and left click to move and right click to attack. So this is our character here. So what I can do is I can pretty much click on any hex on the screen in order to move there. So some hexes I can't move to. For example, this hex here has got a blockage in it, but if I click just the other side of it, you'll see that I'll move kind of around that. As you can see, when I move, everybody else moves. So you can see that there are potentially things you can do in order to kind of avoid getting hit. So it looks like this person's gone to attack them, and then it looks like I am being attacked by Francis. Now, you can see that Ulrich's already had a bit of a go at Francis. And if I click on her, I can see her report of the battle. So this is the battle according to benevolence. So Ulrich slashes at her and the blade nicks her body. So she's obviously been nicked. You can see some debug stuff up there as well, which I'll get rid of when I release the demo. So we've also got Ulrich here. So I can also see the different kind of people and what they've actually managed to do already, so that I can kind of see what's happening in the other parts of the battle. Because it pauses every time, it means that you don't have to worry about missing anything. Okay, now if I move there, that should be safe. So I'm going to move to there. Right, so they're hitting each other, but they're missing. Right, so let's have a go at Francis. I'm going to take my axe and I'm going to try and chop his head off. Now, it's a fairly normal attack. You can see the modifiers there. I get +2 for my reflexes, but it's a precise target. It's hard to hit. I'm going to do it anyway. So there we go. And I completely missed. So it looks like Francis tried to headbutt me, and he's broken a bone in my body, which is really annoying. So I don't know how he broke it, but he must have cracked a rib or something like that. And as you can see now, if you look at my the way that the pain and the blood and the fear thresholds have gone up, I'm feeling a little bit scared now because I've been attacked, and I'm also in a little bit of pain. But I haven't managed to hit Francis at all, so he's doing quite well. Now you can see that Ulrich and Benevolence are still kind of slugging it out and haven't actually hit each other. Right, so maybe trying to take off his head wasn't the right thing to do. I could try slashing the axe at his body and let's see what happens. I've nicked him, didn't quite manage it, and he glanced at me with his mace. So if I go back to my battle again, I can scroll back through what's happened to me so far. So yeah, just not really much going on at all. Now with a nick, what's happened is that we'll start getting blood loss. So if you keep an eye on the BL score in the middle there, that'll keep ticking up and up and up, and eventually you'll bleed to death. But that'll go up very slowly if you're just nicking different people. I'm going to try that attack again. So let's give it a go. Slash body. There we go. Oh, a deep gash. That's a good spot. So he's a bit scared now. He's in a bit of a pain. And it looks like, let's just go back to that. I've left a deep gash on his body. Yeah, so that means that his blood loss will go up quite quickly now, which is great. It's worth saying that the camera's completely free to move around, so you can go up and you can go down, and you can zoom right in if you want to see the characters close up if you want to. She's looking pretty mean there with that massive axe. That's looking pretty cool. So yeah, it's basically the whole point